on-chain. Hey, on-chain revolution, Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, yeah, send it to the deck, sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge, look at the chart.
Welcome back to On-Chain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing interview for you guys today. This one's going to be a fun one, guys. So about 2 weeks ago, we were doing the Tokyo Blitz. You guys all know about that. That was fun and exciting when we met Georgy, or Big G, as he likes to go by. And Big G was actually building something really cool with his team. It was called MIDL. So really got us looking into it, really got us thinking about doing an episode. Really excited for this one, guys. There's a lot going into this. They're using EVM potentially on top of Bitcoin. It's a lot. It's a lot to go through. It's a lot to bring your mind around, truly try to understand. But today we're going to break it all down for you. But first, let me bring in my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? Dude, I'm excited for this one. We've been talking about this all week. This is going to be a big project.
Yeah, I'm really excited as well. When I first heard about MIDL, I believe I first heard about MIDL from Raul from Fluid a while back, and he said, yeah, this is something similar to what Arch is doing, except for on the EVM tech stack side. I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome, because the whole objective is to really, get these Bitcoin ecosystem users to feel like comfortable, right? Look, we're using Bitcoin in the most native way, but also bringing the scalability of an EVM tech stack to it. So I'm excited to jump in to see, how it's going to work, where this benefits the Bitcoin ecosystem, and, how much fun we're going to probably have here in the near future once it launches.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, right? Bitcoin right now it's slow. Sometimes it get up to an hour block, right? Like last week, and it was tough to get through. And you can't really do smart contracts. There is people that are building some cool stuff with alkanes and stuff like that. But I think the more native solutions, the more native projects that can build on these solutions as well, it's gonna be really awesome to see. And it's just evolution of Bitcoin, right? At the end of the day.
Absolutely. And that doesn't mean that these other L2s aren't going to have their own, position in the ecosystem, because I definitely think they will. But I do think like having this hybrid of like rolling transactions up on Bitcoin, that's going to please a good amount of people that have been kind of sitting there with their pitchforks the entire time, and the people that are like, oh, I want things to be faster, right? So I think this is going to be a fun interview. I can't wait to dive in.
Let's do it. Let's bring in Georgy. Georgy from MIDL. Welcome to On-Chain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
Hello, everyone. GM. I really felt the energy there. You guys really know how to kind of kickstart the show.
Yeah, we got to, man. It's kind of like our artificial coffee. We just like create that energy, right, to get the show and the day started. But thank you so much for joining us and our audience and spending time out of your day. We know you're a super busy person, but if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself to the audience in the Bitcoin ecosystem that hasn't met you yet, maybe go into a little bit of your your experience leading up to where we are today, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm coming basically from I have a development background basically, and I live in Finland. This is a really good place for me. Basically, I work 24/7. It's a perfect spot to do it. Basically, I just have sauna breaks from time to time, and then back to grinding, essentially. But otherwise, I've been coding here and there most of my life. About 6 years ago, I entered a Web3 company, and shortly after, I kind of organized an R&D unit around me. We've been trying out some ideas, working on some tech stuff internally for the company, improving like development experience and so on. And at some point, we basically scattered around Bitcoin, especially when it was the ordinals boom. And we started working on it with our team. And MIDL is what we sticked with. Essentially, we've been doing this for 1.5 years. I myself used to be more on the development side slash management, but now since it's like such a huge project and it requires kind of like a ecosystem support in some sense, I transitioned to a DevRel position, and so now nowadays my my work schedule is kind of like half a day coding and half a day yappy. And so this is my second day, or second half of the day, basically.
What do you prefer more, the yapping or the devin?
I think it's quite cool that they kind of balance each other out. You don't get too stuck in the same routine every day, but I think coding kind of makes my brain work harder. So it's sometimes nice to just like lock in and just code for at least a couple of hours without any disruptions.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially, you know, if you're naturally a developer. But I will say, you know, your team probably looks at you as like a hot commodity because, you know, I got to give you credit. There's not a lot of developers that can do the marketing side as well. You know, they seem to really want to only stay in their little corner. That says, "Leave me alone. Let me build what we're trying to build." So that's awesome that you have that both kind of aspects to your resume there. But yeah, so. Let's kind of dig a little bit into like your crypto experience there. Have you only experienced Bitcoin and ordinals, or have you ventured off into the dark side of DeFi, Ethereum, Solana as well?
No, I'm pretty experienced Solidity and web developer myself. So that's essentially allows us to build an EVM-like experience when building on Bitcoin. I personally passed about 15 audits on my smart contracts in total, built a couple of websites as well together with this. So like we have, I personally have quite a good and solid experience in both DeFi or just Web3 applications. And all in all, in MIDL, we have around 22 people in house. Out of them, 10 are developers. Some are specializing more on the Bitcoin side, some are specializing more on the EVM side, but otherwise it's kind of like a dynamic team there, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So you said you've experience in the Ethereum world. How many years have you been in the crypto world? How many years have you been experienced this amazing area of life here? And kind of what's your experience maybe before this?
Yeah, so as I said, I'm basically like a workaholic. So I've been working since I was like 13, 14 years old. Initially, I started like part-time working in high school with some like IT stuff-ish. I was doing some lame database management for some local shop, essentially. Then I started preparing to move out or basically to migrate to Finland. That was more than 14 years ago. And I started working basically in restaurants to save up for basically moving out. And then at some point I started opening restaurants while I was at it. I mean, not my own, but like basically taking the lead in the opening. I'm not like
I was
opening.
like, man, that's a fast track.
It's a bit. I'm not that, or at least I wasn't loaded. I'm still not loaded, unfortunately. The opening restaurant is quite expensive stuff. Yeah. Otherwise, I moved out to Finland and I've been starting university. Meanwhile, was doing some part-time work as a web developer, and yep, as I said, slowly transitioned into Web3. Fired basically a bunch of people by being present there and organized an R&D department and shit got rolling essentially.
Love it, man.
Yeah, no, I love that you have that R&D experience because that's what you know, having that and then building something like MIDL is great because you have to do a lot of R&D, you know, if you're trying to build on Bitcoin. So you have that experience there, and I'm starting to think that Scandinavia is like starting to become a developer hub for like Web3, because there's several other teams that we've talked to that have either been in Finland or Norway or Sweden, and so that's awesome. All right, let's get to MIDL. Okay, so you eventually worked your way to this amazing project called MIDL. What need did you see, or like what spurred the idea of MIDL? If you could get into that and maybe break down a little bit of what MIDL is to the audience.
Sure. Let me just, I guess, first of all, give a quick intro on MIDL before we get into history. So right now, MIDL is somewhat like abstraction environment, abstraction layer, computational environment for Bitcoin. In a nutshell, that means that we allow executing complex smart contract operations without leaving the Bitcoin network. So you don't have to change your wallets. You can stay and use, for example, your favorite Takeo wallet or Bitcoin wallet, whatever works on Bitcoin side, using your native Bitcoin. So you don't have to breach your assets out somewhere, wait for hours before it gets breached in there, claiming it. There's nothing like this. You just connect to a decentralized application, which is deployed on Bitcoin with MIDL, and you start using it. So, for example, swapping your Bitcoin for runes, or lending like some stable coins as runes with your Bitcoin, and so on and so on. Like, there is basically sky is the limit here. You can imagine everything that makes you excited about EVM, DeFi, but being on Bitcoin in here. And we initially started with this idea more than 1.5 years ago. It's been a long R&D there. For like a month or so, we've been working on trying to do like a decentralized version of wrapped Bitcoin, essentially, or like a bit more decentralized version of a wrapped Bitcoin, exploring the cryptography that we should be doing, exploring just the validating also the market demand for that, and so on. And around that time, there was also an ordinals boom, so we started to look into that, and we were like, hey, we should do like an AMM for runes, or like for ordinals, whatever. And then it's been like few weeks of like trying to pick the idea, building architecture, and then we realized that the amount of stuff we gotta do there in order to achieve that is just so much that no one would ever be able to bring other DeFi stack into Bitcoin with that much of infrastructure missing. Like, because simple spot DEX AMM, it doesn't really work. Like, it can if you are like a kind of like a meme coin thing, and you're just like pumping dumping like same assets over and over. But otherwise, the proper DeFi is operational when you have like lending protocols, perp DEXs, spot DEXs, arbitrage, like on-chain strategies, some vaults, restakings, and so on. So everything like adds up each other. And if team has to spend like 12 months on building a single product, while they usually have to spend like 3 months for it, this is just going nowhere. So we decided that we're going to, basically seeing this untapped potential and great pain in the market, we decided that we're going to basically fix this, build the infrastructure which is required for quick deployments to Bitcoin network. And this is basically how MIDL started. So now it's been 1 year and 2 months in development of specifically this idea. And it's been like a very bumpy road, but it really gives us, I guess, a validation that we are very far away by now, because it's way too hard. It shouldn't be that hard. But hopefully now no one ever will have to basically suffer through it anymore.
Yeah, man. 100%. So that's great. It's great way to explain it. So as a user though, right? So basically, from my understanding, I'm gonna have my XRS wallet just like normal. I'm gonna go to your DEXs just like normal, and I'm gonna be trading like Bitcoin assets pretty much normal. From a user standpoint, I'm really not gonna notice what's happening in the back end, correct?
Sure, and it's not like exactly a backend out there. There is a separate separate like blockchain running the transactions. So we are trying to keep things like still secure, decentralized, also compatible with the applications you love and like. Stuff like Aave, Uniswap, and whatever. You can just bring them in here and start using them at Bitcoin side. But otherwise, from the UX standpoint, everything is the same. It's just that you now have your Bitcoin wallet instead of MetaMask. And as soon as MetaMask finally goes through their promise of bringing the Bitcoin into MetaMask, then you would be able to use MetaMask as well for these applications. But of course, I'm not sure like how long is it going to take them. It's like we've been tracking their repo for 2 years by now. It's they've been doing it for 2 years. I'm not sure how long is it going to take more. So.
Yeah. It's funny because you guys have been through the bumps and bruises of building on Bitcoin, and then when you hear a big company like MetaMask say, "Hey, we're going to support Bitcoin," or even like another like Slingshot, for example, say we're going to support Bitcoin, you're just like, okay, that's we know how hard it is over here, but let's see how. And then it gets like that. The date takes forever because you guys have been through the bumps and bruises. So, but that at the end of the day, you guys are building. You're one of the builders that are building out the infrastructure for the more broader Bitcoin ecosystem. Do you expect more builders to come and use different tech stacks? You guys are using EVM to make it kind of this hybrid type of account abstraction and stuff like that. Other people might be using SVM. Do you think it stops there, or do you think like other layer ones and layer twos say, hey, we want a part of this too?
I guess as soon as Bitcoin DeFi summer comes in and kicks in, everyone gonna get a FOMO and everyone will try to sit on a Bitcoin DeFi chair. It's going to happen at some point. It's just the main idea right now is to keep focusing on the L1 itself. And this is what we want to be doing at MIDL. We want to build like some activity at the Bitcoin L1, even with the tricks like what we are doing, that the computations happens at some other environment, and then results are reflected to the mainnet. And this is the same thing why we embrace other companies to come in, because more arbitrage opportunities there are on the L1, it just benefits everyone. And it's yet to basically firmly decide what kind of Bitcoin native standard is going to lead in future. Right now, like I personally am a strong like runes believer, even though like I'm constantly trying to suggest like adding like this feature, doing this, doing that. But I still think that it's the asset which probably much further than others, like both technically and from the traction standpoint. So I think that as soon as we see bigger demand at the Bitcoin L1, everyone is going to try and get here. It's going to be so packed, people won't be able to get in. It's like, I don't know, some kind of rush hour, I don't know, subway station.
Yeah, like no, 100%. I think you're absolutely right. So the people that like laid their bets 6 months, year, you said you guys have been doing R&D for a year and a half, 2 years ago, they're going to benefit first because you guys have put all the hard work in. You have your protocol ready and that. I have a question that's a little bit off topic, but it kind of does swing back into this. But like being a developer yourself, you think about like the tech stacks, you think about how it functions, but our space is sometimes it's backwards. It's like this protocol or this way of doing things technically isn't the most sound way, but because it has the marketing head start or has traction, it wins. How do you wrap your brain as a developer around something like that?
I guess
marketing first and then tech second, or I mean, you know what I mean? Because it seems like our space is like that.
Like for me, I'm kind of biased because as I mentioned, I am also coming from like a business background. I'm not only like a developer, so kind of have a very clear idea in my head how things are supposed to be done, and this is always like a baby steps. You first see the demand, then you do something, then you recheck the demand, then you continue doing something, then you recheck the demand, you continue doing something. So I would say that it should kind of go together.
Yeah.
But at the same time, referring to the tech stack, the reason why, for example, we at MIDL decided to go with EVM is basically because of the amount of teams we can bring into the Bitcoin ecosystem like this. The biggest amount of applications are running at Ethereum. All of the majority, or like all of them, almost from the DeFi standpoint, protocols were born and keep running at the Ethereum level. So this just also from the marketing standpoint, it's not only like the most convenient for developers to come in, but also like a very close concept to like a broad crypto mind, I would say.
Yeah, man, love it, 100%. You actually brought us a demo today. I'm really excited to kind of dig into that if you're ready.
Yes, sure. Let's do that. And I'm going to showcase here one of the favorite products that Crypto DeFi has. And you guys can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. So this is just a very plain version of a Uniswap V2. And we're taking this just as a showcase. We're not going to run any applications ourselves at the Bitcoin as a like middle foundation. But this is just a showcase we've built for the future testnet and for the cases like this. So as I said, users connect to their applications with native Bitcoin wallets. So in this case, let's connect with Xverse, for example. And it looks just like this. And let's attempt to swap some Bitcoin for a rune, which I pre-etched before this and made a liquidity pool and blah, blah, blah. So the UX is just as usual. We're going to, let's say, swap this weird amount of Bitcoin. And as a user, I just have to do a few clicks at the Xverse site. So first of all, I'm going to transfer the same amount of Bitcoin I have inputs into the form, plus a little bit as a transaction fee on top. And these assets are getting transferred essentially to a TSS, which being run by a decentralized network of validators with an improved cryptography on which we spent quite a lot of time. And then we're going to sign what we call intentions. Intentions are the transactions that we are going to be doing as a user. So in this case, my intention is basically A, to swap the Bitcoin for a rune, and B, to have the results reflected to the Bitcoin itself. So from the user's perspective, it looks just like this. And that's pretty much it. Nothing else is required from my side. No bridging, no like wrapping, nothing like this. I just initiated the transaction, and and you will see in a second, I will get the runes back to my wallet, essentially, the ones which I requested in here. Let's wait. And here is the transaction. Not sure how good you guys are at reading the bytecode, but this is basically it. The thing which we desired with these intentions is for me to receive the transfer of the 546 sats with runes with them. And that's pretty much it. Nothing else is required from your side as a user. It can be a lending protocol. It can be perpdex. It can be some socialify, some gamify stuff. It can be everything. And we at MIDL are currently continue looking for other applications like other like application builders on top of ones we already found. We currently have Helios Finance team, which is being run by previously head of Bitcoin Startup Labs. We have right now an OMZO protocol, which is doing a spot DEX. We have Bima. These guys are pretty much everywhere. Already finishing their deployments at the private DevNet stage. We have a couple of more teams right now at the starting point of the deployment. A lot of requests like further this year, closer to fall. But anyway, we're looking for more builders basically to come in. And with stuff that we did, and we did everything with development experience in mind, it doesn't take much time to migrate from the existing Ethereum application into the Bitcoin one. We've written like our own MIDL.js library, which is a all-in-one thing that you need to do on Bitcoin. It just abstracts you away from everything you have to basically usually learn with a lot of pain. You don't have to worry about Bitcoin transactions. You don't have to worry about different cryptographies. You don't have to worry about signing, decoding, stuff like this. It's front-end compatible, so it's really good for developers to like basically step in and just get to it from the first second.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that demo was awesome. Thank you for that. So you basically, so that Bitcoin isn't wrap Bitcoin, that's Bitcoin native L1. And that rune that you swapped was rune on L1.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
And this is also like, this is also something that we want to basically put stakes on. We want to have users see that their assets are actually getting back and forward from their wallets. Essentially, they should see the result right away. And they are seeing the results right away, basically, with such system. Yeah. And now that most of the wallets support runes on a quite good level, then it's just an easy peasy job.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, because when I saw all that stuff, the first question that came to my mind was, are the users reliant on the 10-minute block time? Or because they did the pre-sign, that is already taken care of, and kind of there's an assumption there, the trust assumption there between the runes going to the destination. So do they have to wait for that Bitcoin transaction to go through to continue the swap, or are they able to just kind of okay? That's great. That's great.
They don't have to wait. It's as I showed, you do everything at the same time. It's also still robust and decentralized in a point that we just make basically the Ethereum transaction with the private key you have stored in your Bitcoin wallet. We had to, like, it was actually like 4 months of work to make it work, to make it actually work well, because we've been trying out different sign-in cryptography curves, essentially, trying to work it out. But then like three or 4 months in, we managed to make like actual Ethereum transactions with Bitcoin wallets. So you don't have to wait for anything. You just make a transaction and off you go.
This is game changing. Yeah. Obviously, without the Bitcoin computation side, this is, in my opinion, the most furthest that we've seen, right, Shizzy, in terms of a scaling solution that allows you to do the native Bitcoin stuff at the same time, not have to wait, because that's the biggest pain in the side, and not have to bridge in, not have to bridge in, because that's what the scaling solutions are using today. So I'm excited for this. This is awesome to see. Let me ask you a question. What kind of, are you getting any pushback from Bitcoin ecosystem people because you guys are using EVM? And if so, how intense is that? And if not, like, I guess that's amazing. But are you guys getting pushback?
So we do sometimes face a pushback, just as any protocol on Bitcoin which doesn't just transfer Bitcoin back and forward. But it's not that much. B, I think it's really easy to stay like conservative when there is nothing to do in here, and it's a very like nasty analogy that we sometimes use, but we still didn't come up for everything better. It's really easy to stay vegan when there is no meat around.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I'm sorry for like all the feelings that I just like heard, but it's just an analogy. Like
No, 100%.
Otherwise, as soon as we see the actual utility at L1, we see basically that we can meet somewhere in the middle, like keeping things still decentralized, while yes, there will be like a network of, let's say, hundreds of validators who are making sure that things are decentralized. Computation is running on the external side, but still results are there. I think we'll get somewhere, and as soon as we taste this one bite, then it's going to change everything.
I love that too. You said you got to stay in the middle, right? So
Yes, exactly. This is exactly why.
and that now I get the name. Now I get the name. But I want to talk about the gas. So on the Bitcoin native side, you obviously have to pay a bit for a Bitcoin transaction. On like EVM, you have to pay for an EVM transaction. What are you guys doing? How am I paying for this? These transactions?
So this was the part of the thing that I showed you. We basically have to charge around 10-15% on top of the transaction fee that you are paying to Bitcoin miners. So let's say your transaction is 1 USD, you're going to pay 10 cents for the gas fees at MIDL. The Bitcoin is basically the native token at the external computational environment, so you don't have to buy some other token somewhere before accessing the network. It's still like we made it sure that the user flow in here is just that I own the Bitcoin, I want to start doing something with it. Not like the other way around, like I have to call, I don't know, my friend who has like a Binance account, hey, can you transfer me a MIDL? I want to use their network. That would be like quite like balls breaking, I would say. So it's just Bitcoin. It's just Bitcoin, and it's relatively low fees for the transaction execution.
Yeah, I love that, because now I was thinking in my head, I was like, I gotta pay it. Like I gotta have MIDL in my wallet, I gotta have Bitcoin in my wallet, but no, I just have to have Bitcoin in my wallet, and I can make any transaction continuously.
Exactly. Yeah, and I know a lot of people still kind of remember the days like it was, I don't know, 3 years ago still, kind of waking up in a nightmare for paying like 150 USD for a simple transfer at Ethereum L1. I mean, it's not anymore like this at the Ethereum L1 itself, but it's as well not like this in here. It's pretty deliberate, I'd say.
Yeah, love it. I want to talk about the builders right now. So obviously, you guys depend on builders, right? You guys built the amazing environment for these builders to build on. Can you talk a little about your builders? You don't got to get like specific, but maybe like what people are building so far.
Sure. So we have right now the furthest in the development and the ones who the earliest started is the OMZO protocol. It's being run by one of the founders of the first licensed Binance broker back in the days.
Wow.
So they're building a spot DEX somewhat close to the Uniswap. We have a Helios Finance team, which is run by one of the sharpest lads I've seen. Especially like, actually, I cannot even say like the word especially. Both like business and technical side is being run by some geniuses out there. On the business side, there is a Tristan, who was previously part of the Bitcoin Startup Labs. Probably heard of that guy. And we have, of course, our favorite Bima team. As I said, these guys are like actually everywhere, and this is what they do the best, I would say. Like they manage to put their toe in every bucket of water, I would say. But they're also just finished the deployment from what I've seen, and it's working pretty well. On top of that, we have an interest from actually externals guys to bring in the perp DEX. We have as well guys doing some fees arbitrage, essentially, from Hedgehog Protocol, which want to be doing the Bitcoin fees, essentially, and so on and so on. We have a few teams which we are not disclosing just yet because they didn't start on the deployments, but they have basically they share the plan that they want to be doing this just a bit closer to the mainnet side of MIDL. And otherwise we're going to start with these teams to run some tests in public testnet right now, and basically show the Bitcoin users that you actually can do something now with your Satoshis.
Yeah, love that, man. Yes, a lot of builders, a lot of bit building going on, and absolutely amazing. My final question for you is, let's just say you weren't with MIDL, you're on the outside looking in. What would you personally, as a dev, build for MIDL that's not being built right now?
So I guess I have this on. For a known reason, I always wanted to do the RWA. Like 6 years ago, one of the first ideas that I've been pitching, like internally in our company, that guys, we should be doing like RWAs. It just makes so much sense. It can be anything from the RWA side. It can be treasuries, can be stocks, can be commodities, can be real estate. But this, of course, like gets into sometimes the regulation standpoint. It gets into just the usability standpoint. So I think now when we have a more clarity on the regulation side, if we have an access to the native Bitcoin itself, and there are a lot of like not actually like crypto people, but people who own crypto, they own usually Bitcoin. So I think it just makes a lot of sense to step into the RWA side. We are working a lot on that to bring some RWA teams to Bitcoin. This is what I would be doing. Otherwise, if I were like more energetic, or if I wouldn't be working like here 60, 70 hours a week on MIDL, I probably would be building like a proper lending protocol or a spot DEX. And for anyone who is like hearing this and hear that, these guys already have like a spot DEX or lending protocol, one of these is never enough. Essentially, you need a pair of each to have a proper DeFi running. So I probably would be focusing on that. I think it provides a lot of basically revenue opportunities for the protocol builders, and overall just basically gives you an opportunity to have a very solid place in the ecosystem. And we're talking here about the Bitcoin ecosystem, like which other space you want to be solid in, like nothing else, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's actually really smart that you guys went the EVM route because of the developer pool, right? At the end of the day, once the steam picks up for this bull market and things get crazy, that's the biggest pool that people from last cycle were able to build on, like basically 6 to 8 different chains, can now do the same thing over here. So it's really, really smart. I guess my last question for you is what are you most excited about next for MIDL? Are you excited about the launch coming up? Are you excited about, just seeing how people can discover you guys? What are you most excited about?
Yeah, I guess preparation, like launch is still, it's very close, I would say, for us. We're going through audits right now. So as soon as those are done, we are, from the technical standpoint, are able to launch. So this is, of course, exciting, but it's still, like, even though it's fairly close to this point, it's still very far away. Like, it's still a matter of like a few months. So otherwise, I think I am excited to spread the word about MIDL. We just recently started doing it. We basically came public only in like late February, so we're just starting to ramp up everything on our activities. Like, planning took a lot of time, trying to find like the good way to basically approach the market also took time. So I think now we are getting up to speed, and I'm really excited to see the feedback from the community, some feature requests on like what can we do at MIDL, what should we do, how well did we manage to do the stuff that we've been doing, and yeah, this is like basically just seeing like the feedback is what excites me right now.
Awesome.
Love it, man. Absolutely amazing. Great job today. You killed this interview. A great job. But love to give you the stage one last time. Maybe tell people where to come find you, or anything you have to end this interview.
Sure. So first of all, it's the website itself, MIDL, MIDL.xyz. It provides a brief overview on what we are doing, some links to the docs and to our social media. Otherwise, we have weekly spaces running basically by our marketing department team on every Friday. And we have this open source library that we've been working on for a very long time. I advise that every builder who listens to this, who doesn't necessarily want to build on MIDL, still come and check out the MIDL GS library, because it provides actually like clean written code, well working, well tested, which lets you operate just at the Bitcoin space. This is what we had to do as part of our development process, because whatever we found in the open source space in Bitcoin right now wasn't basically sufficient enough to cover our needs, which were quite basic. So these two things, just like subscribe to our Twitter and subscribe to my Twitter personally. I'm trying to basically pump up some numbers. Yes, that's me. Thank you very much. You are reading my thoughts, isn't it?
No problem. Yeah, go follow. It's at MIDL Big G, and then you guys can click right here and actually get the brand account as well. So definitely go, guys. Go follow both of these. Go check out the website. It's been an absolute pleasure. Georgy, thank you so much, man.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. We look forward to having you on in the future as well. And thank you so much. Have a good day.
Cheers.
Bye.
Well, that was absolutely amazing, guys. Really bullish on what MIDL is building. I actually can't wait for them to go live, start testing stuff out, and thinking ideas of potentially maybe even trying to build there or something. But if this works, if this comes online and it is strong, man, the Bitcoin ecosystem has changed forever.
Exactly. And this is why I get so bullish about saying, hey, I think that the Bitcoin ecosystem is that kind of sleeper narrative for this cycle. I know initially it wasn't a sleeper, it was really hyped up, and then it kind of died down a bit, but I think it's going to revive here, possibly Q4 of this year, maybe even heading into next year. But this just goes to show, if you're listening in, like how many, the diversity of builders, basically, right? Like EVM side, we have SVM builder, we have all these scaled solutions. So this is the one that's really exciting. I think they're going to have a big pool of developers to kind of pull from. So excited to see them get going. But we appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in, man. I really hope that you guys understand how much we appreciate you guys. Without y'all, we could not do this. But also without our partners, we couldn't do it. So if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is an aggregator DEX for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're going to swap for runes or alkanes, do it at satsterminal.com. You can earn Amber points for future rewards there. Exciting stuff. They're going to have a lot of support for like any popular fungible asset they're going to support. That's what they're about, right? You see the tickers that are trending up there. That gives you kind of some insight of what's hot. Head over to satsterminal.com today. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, some Bitcoin, and 6 Bitcoin blocks. You can start placing bets in their blitz markets. It's a quick, almost fun. It's really fun little leverage perps kind of experience, right? It doesn't get really in depth with it, but you can pick between Bitcoin, Solana, and BNB. You get 10 minutes to lock in the price point where you think it's going to go up or down, and then an additional 10 minutes to see if you were correct or incorrect there. There's other features as well coming, like create your own markets. You can earn up to 1.5%, or refer a friend where you can earn 1% of the total volume for each of those. Head over to betbtc.win today. Dive into their community and docs. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability tooling for the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin Layer 1 to Abstract to Merlin Bitcoin Layer 2 to Base. And right now you can actually do it to Ethereum if you have a Taproot wizard. They already started with that collection. Eventually, you're going to be able to do Solana as well. And you're going to be able to use Agent AI Hustle, which is their AI product. Right now, Hustle is only working with the Solana tech stack, but eventually they're going to add the Bitcoin tech stack. And that's whenever you're going to be able to use Hustle to help you bridge over these ordinals. But right now, you can use Hustle to help you through the trenches of Solana, really intuitive AI that can help you as an assistant. I use them all the time. Right now, it's free to use Hustle, but eventually there's going to be a kind of business model that's wrapped in with their Hustle token, or the token associated with that product, right? So try them out right now for free. And then don't forget, they have a rune, TGE rune, that's coming out in September called the Emblem Founder Vault Keys. You can participate in a pre-sale right now on OpenSea. If you search Emblem Founder Vaults, you can buy an NFT. And then once September rolls around, they'll give you instructions on how to get those runes into your Bitcoin wallet for the TGE event. Head over to emblem.vision today. Dive into their community as well. Awesome team there. And then Artura Finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem, going to be launching soon on Botonic's Bitcoin Layer 2. Exciting times for this team. The Spider Chain is going to be co-promoting Artura.finance. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. Some big news coming out of that co-promotion side of things. But you're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungibles on Artura eventually, right? Like Doggo to the Moon, Billion Dollar Cat, Ordi, Sats, etc. You'll also be able to trade the popular tokens outside of the ecosystem, XRP, Tau, Ethereum. Soon after the Botonics launch, they'll also be launching on Bitcoin Layer 2 Hemi, right? That's backed by Binance Labs. Just head over to Artura.finance, join their Discord for sure, because they have experienced traders that give you tips there, and then dive into their docs as well. Artura.finance is the website. Check it out. And then Fluid Tokens is the UTXO wizard devs of the Bitcoin ecosystem, started on Cardano and moved to Bitcoin, but they're building on both. They're first to offer staking vaults to you guys. If you did stake your Doggo to the Moon, go and claim it. It's claimable now. You can get your reward and your original stake tokens back in one transaction. You can use their airdrop tool if you're a founder of a rune. You can airdrop it to all your community. It's really simple. You can either upload a CSV file, which has all the addresses compiled on it, or you can do it manually one by one. But it's really simple and it's cost efficient. Make sure you check out the airdrop tool. And then on the Cardano side, if you are from the Cardano ecosystem, you can participate and earn Babel fees by participating in their Aquarium platform there. Exciting times for this team to continually deliver and continually build. Head over to fluidtokens.com today. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet that's adding multiple ecosystems. They started with Cardano as well. Bitcoin has been added, so you can trade for SNEC on Cardano. You can trade for Doggo to the Moon on Bitcoin. They've partnered with aggregators on both sides, right? And a new ecosystem is going to be coming soon. So if you have an Apple iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store, download the app. If you have a Android, head over to the Google Play Store, download the app. Try it out. Let us know if you want some features added or what your experience is. We can pass that on to the team. But they are continually building out for the best UI UX for all users. Head over to Tokyo.io. Dive into all their docs. Join their community. Awesome team behind that product as well. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength with the power of AI with their Wizard 0.03 version that can guide you through their ecosystem, right? It can help you swap, it can help you stake. And speaking of staking, they are a proof of stake chain, and you can participate by securing the chain with your Merlin Chain tokens. They have two different plans. The flexible plan is a day-to-day. I will say the withdrawal process does take 7 days though, but you earn 15% on APR on the flexible plan. The bonded plan is a 6-month plan that you get to earn up 45%. So it's a pretty steep increase, but you are locked in for 6 months. You can withdraw your rewards on a day-to-day basis with this plan though. So exciting stuff. Adult decisions that need to be made by you, but definitely research that. And then don't forget, they're making huge moves with different partnerships, being a member of the Wrap Bitcoin DAO and Binance Alpha program as well. So big things coming from them. Head over to merlinchain.io, dive in to all they have to offer there. And then don't forget about our integrated partners in Jungle, formerly Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. And they have also onboarded Bitcoin Derby as well. And they have an ecosystem of, builders of games. That's what their focus is on. So exciting times. I'm excited what they're going to be releasing in the future with their launchpad, etc. And then Ordinal Hive is the Ordinal aggregator marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're doing something similar to what Sats Terminal is doing, but they are doing it with ordinals. They're aggregating ordinals. So cheapest ordinals around, you'll find at Ordinal Hive. And make sure you're taking advantage of their amazing trader tools as well. And they have an XP dashboard. So points, you know what points equal. So just make sure you're checking them out as well. Thank you so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man, as always. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, it's some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. Brand new article just dropped this week on alkanes. Guys, smart contracts are now on Bitcoin. We're seeing them. We saw them this week, 2 different ones by 2 different teams, and they were absolutely amazing, guys. So check out this article right here, and you guys can take a deep dive into exactly what they're building over there on alkanes. And if you guys need a VPN, I use the #1 VPN, in my opinion. That is Nord. I use it every single day. I think you guys should too. Do not be going to these websites with your IP hanging out. It's not a good idea. Don't do it. IP addresses could lead to your home address. Your home address leads to your family and your Bitcoin. Don't do that, guys. Get a VPN. Be smart. There's no reason not to. I think it's $3 a month. I think I locked 2 years in for like $66 or something like that, and locked it in 2 years, set it, forget it. I have a VPN, and I don't have to worry about paying for anything else. And make sure you guys are using our link, though, because if you go to the website, they're going to force you to pay $10 when you guys can get a 70% off coupon by using our link. So definitely use our link there, guys. And if you guys need merch, or just kind of lounge around in your ordinal hoodie, or your Bitcoin runes logo or whatever, we got so much here, guys. Check everything out on our website here: hats, shirts, jackets, school bags, and so much more. We really appreciate if you guys just took a look at what we have going on over there. But guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain revolution, roll call, market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear track. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sacks. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain revolution.